Welcome back. Today we'll take a trip across America. We have a luminary, a song, and a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa, settle in, and let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for October 31st. October 31st is the 304th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 305th in leap years, with 61 days remaining to the end of the year. It's Halloween in Ireland, Canada, United Kingdom, United States, and some other places too. Samhain in the Northern Hemisphere, Beltane in the Southern Hemisphere, and October 31st is the first day of the Day of the Dead. Today's word is pave. Pave is a verb that means to cover a surface, usually a road, path, or floor, with a hard material such as stone, concrete, asphalt, or bricks to make it smoother and more durable, as in, the city plans to pave the old dirt road. Pave can also be used in a figurative sense, where it means to prepare the way for something, to make progress possible, as in their groundbreaking research paved the way for future discoveries. The word pave comes to us from Middle English, Old French before that, originally from Latin, where it meant to beat, ram down, or tread, as in ramming down earth or stones firmly to create a solid surface. So, not much change from back then, huh? First known use of the word pave is in the 1300s. Pave. Mr. B and I follow a YouTube channel called Itchy Boots by a Dutch woman named Noralie Schoenmaker, who travels the world on a motorcycle. We found her when she was traveling from the southern tip of South America up to the top of Alaska on a little red Honda that she called Alaska. She prefers to avoid things like main road highways or interstates such as that. She goes more for dirt paths and unpaved roads or the lesser traveled back roads. And hats off to her for that, I'll tell you. I can't speak for other countries, but from what I've seen, we may be spoiled here in America because many of our roads are paved in some way or another. Why does that matter at all? Well, in cases where the roads are unpaved, they're likely to be dusty and bumpy when dry, muddy in wet times, and I'm not talking just muddy boots in the kitchen. I'm talking about deep, unruly mud that will suck the boots off your feet if given the chance. Ponding on pavement is a caution, but ponding on a dirt road like that out in the middle of nowhere is something else altogether. We've seen Noralie get into some situations that are downright dire, such that we remind ourselves, okay, she got through this one. We know she got through this one because she got somewhere and was able to edit and upload the video. That's how bad it can be on an undeveloped road. That said, a good deal of the U.S. was still in development in the early 1900s. Concrete and asphalt pavement weren't a thing yet, and you were lucky if your town or city had gravel or brick on the streets. Out in the country between towns, and even in many towns and cities, the roads were just dirt. A road would be considered improved if it had been graded. And generally speaking, there wasn't much order to them either, sprawling out from settlements like spider veins. Enter a man named Carl Fisher. He was an idea man. He was part of the group behind the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. When the very first race had to be stopped due to safety issues because of the condition of the track, he convinced investors to pave the racetrack. Since concrete and asphalt pavement weren't a thing yet, they paved the track with 3.2 million bricks, earning Indy the nickname the Brickyard. That was in 1909. Carl could clearly see the growing importance of the automobile on American life and was very pointedly aware of the poor condition and haphazard arrangements of roads in America. He had an idea to create a paved highway across the nation from east to west, New York City to San Francisco, Times Square to Lincoln Park. And so it is that on October 31st, 1913, Carl Fisher formally dedicated the Lincoln Highway. 3,389 miles long initially. It took them a few years to get the whole thing pulled together, but they did get her done. The Lincoln Highway still exists and goes through New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, and California. The first transcontinental road for automobiles in the United States. The Lincoln Highway pioneered transcontinental automobile travel by integrating and improving existing roads into a cohesive 3,389-mile route from New York to San Francisco, completed in rough form by 1915 and reduced by a few hundred miles by 1924 through realignment and paving efforts. This infrastructure cut cross-country driving times from an estimated 60 days on primitive paths to 20 to 30 days by the mid-1920s, averaging 6 miles per hour while navigating variable conditions and limited services. Such dependability validated automobiles for long-distance use, accelerating their adoption amid rising affordability. The Lincoln Highway. This is the birthday of singer-songwriter Thomas Richard Paxton, born October 31st, 1937, in Chicago, Illinois, in the U.S. His family moved to Bristow, Oklahoma in 1948 when he will have been around 11 years old, and he considers Bristow to be his hometown. He developed an interest in performing while in high school, where he participated in school plays and played trumpet in the school band. After high school, he enrolled at the University of Oklahoma. He encountered folk music enthusiasts there and began writing songs. He did a stint in the U.S. Army, where he was posted to Fort Dix in New Jersey and thereby exposed to East Coast music scenes. After the Army, he migrated to Greenwich Village in New York City, where he rubbed elbows with the likes of Bob Dylan and Dave Van Ronk. We've talked about both of those guys before. He made some key connections with folk music luminaries, and Pete Seeger's praise of Tom Paxton's music helped net him opportunities for live recordings and appearances on radio that helped him get a wider audience. Tom Paxton released his first of 10 studio albums in 1964, the most recent one in 2022. In addition, he has live albums, compilation and collaborative albums, singles, recordings for children, as well as books and songbooks, and of course videos and DVDs. And songs he's written have been performed and or covered by lots of other artists. Happy birthday, Tom Paxton. Today's song is The Last Thing on My Mind by Tom Paxton, one of his most covered songs. The Last Thing on My Mind has been covered by at least 30 documented covers across genre, with artists such as Porter Wagner, Dolly Parton, Chet Atkins, Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, and Glenn Campbell, just to name a few. Based on the traditional lament song, The Leaving of Liverpool, if you've been on the planet for a couple of decades or longer, you might be able to relate to this one in some way or another. I listened to it before I started writing about it, and then again while I was getting ready to record, and I struggled to keep from tearing up and wrecking my eyeliner. The Last Thing on My Mind by Tom Paxton, link in the description. How about that? For today's quote, we have an aphorism, an old proverb, and I imagine some of your parents or grandparents may have quoted it to you at some point in your life. You might have said it yourself to someone, and it is, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Alrighty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. Recordings for children as well. Really? Okay. I forgot to turn that off. Okay. And a hearty and grateful shout out to these lovely folks who've bought me a coffee. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to add your name to that list, there is a link in the description where you too can buy me a coffee. Alrighty. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlists in the description. You can find me on BitChute, Facebook, Odyssey, Rumble, YouTube, and X, as well as on a blog page called No Really. No Really. No Really. Consider following my Day in History page on Facebook if you're on Facebook. I also have a Patreon account now, or you can buy me a coffee. All those links are in the description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.